Aloha, Bear Nation. Prepper days know I was first. Remember that. Did he just say Shaloha? Is he Hawaiian or Hebrew? Is he a Hawaiian Hebrew? A Hebrewian? What is he? I'm so confused. Is he Jewish? What is this guy? Whatever, you'll get over it. What's up, bro, Kansas Fama? Sheepdog, sup, Dallas? Shalom, everybody. What up, Patrick? Kia! What's everybody doing? How is everybody? The best, tremendous, all the, with the pointy fingers, like this. What's up, David? What's going on? How is everybody? Good morning. Jamie Haas, what's going on? Ozark Sapper, nice, a sapper. Do you mean like you make maple syrup or you make things explode? Which of, or both? That would be even cool, please. 50 McNuggets. They even make a 50-piece McNugget? And by the way, have you already, boom, roger that. If you get the 50-piece McNugget, does it come with a free referral to a cardiac specialist rather? Andrew, good morning. Chevy Girl's here. What's up, everybody? Shaloha. My goodness, people, my goodness. Trent? Channeling your wild and crazy guy. Well, listen, so I was up at 4:54 a.m. I was in the office by 6. I don't even know what time it is right now. I think it's about 7:45 a.m. Central. See these guys right here? Yeah, I just beat them like they owe me money. 07, Roger. So, yeah, I'm glowing right now. You know that high that you get after you do a whole lot of exercise? Got it right now. Daniel Streety, Bread for War. Awesome. By the way, got your envelope. I appreciate you, brother. Y'all are freaking awesome. Hold on, everybody. I've added a couple of things to the loot box. Some of which are some Bread for War t-shirts, because they're a super cool color with a super cool logo. Shalom, Lee Roby. And they're super cool guys. So if you like metal and you like being in service to the kingdom, you should check out Bread, the number 4, the word war. Bread for War. Whiskey Alpha Romeo. They're freaking awesome. Thank you, John H. You're freaking awesome. No, Daniel, thank you. Y'all rock. All right. Let's do some reporting, shall we? Good morning, Rev. Bear Independent Intel Report 29 May. I don't know, Clay Dog. What's up with you? 29 May 2020. First of all, thank you all for being here. You guys and girls are freaking awesome. You're tremendous. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm curious because there's only 133 people here. Did I make this unlisted? Are y'all only Patreon people, or is YouTube also here? Because I might have fat thumbed my way into this brief. It doesn't really matter, but whatever. Living free, my brother. I clicked YouTube. Roger that, YouTube. Okay, cool. We're good to go. Good. The numbers will spin up in a minute. People, it's Friday morning. They're like, I don't want to be awake. I don't want to watch this stupid bear guy right now. But thank y'all for being here. You're freaking cool. As always, the entirety of this report is found where? Patreon. That's right. What do? We go to patreon.com. What do we put in the search bar? Bear Independent. B-E-A-R, not B-A-R-E. There's a video for that, but it's an entirely separate channel. Don't judge me. I was young and I needed the money. B-E-A-R, Independent. There's how many A's in the word independent? 0. Good job, class. Okay, bearindependent.com, at Patreon. You can find us at Patreon. Shout out to the Intel team, Dance Monkeys, Intel at bearindependent.com. Y'all are cool, the coolest monkeys ever. I'm so happy to have caged you up and basically pushed you into a life of indentured servitude with nothing but animal crackers for food for the rest of your miserable existence. So, yay team. No, really, they're awesome. Intel at bearindependent.com. If you have tasty Intel nuggets for them, send it to the Intel team at bearindependent.com. And Intel at Bear Independent, they'll take care of you. Roger, Roger. Worldwide, the numbers continue to climb. As of the time of this reporting, global cases are 5.879 million, with 2.9 million active cases. Global deaths are 360,000. Global recoveries, 2.576 million. U.S. cases are 1,767,000, with 1,165,000. There we go. Cut. Go. U.S. cases are 1,767,373, with 1,165,000. Did it again. 1,165,428 active cases. The best words, tremendous. Believe me. U.S. deaths, 103,000. U.S. recoveries. I can't believe he laughed at 103,000 dead people. No, I laughed at myself because I'm a freaking nut job and somehow y'all are watching me deliver the news daily. But let's reiterate the intro. Thank you. U.S. deaths, 103,301. That's a palindrome. 103,301. What could it be trying to tell us? U.S. recoveries, 498,644. All right, into the bullet points. Venezuela has reiterated solidarity with China. How interesting. You know, officially in Venezuela, 10 people have died of COVID-19. Unofficially, it's more like 30,000. No wonder they like China. They're both very, they're on par with their reporting. Venezuela also just received oil from Iran, which has agreements with Russia. There is a pattern here. Bipartisan efforts have passed a bill called the Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act that will result in identification and sanction of Chinese officials responsible for playing a role in human rights abuses towards the Uyghur minority population. Roger. Concerns about... I'm going to need some bracketed pronunciation the next time this word shows up in the report, monkeys. Thanks. Uyghur, I believe is how it's pronounced. Concerns about tensions between the U.S. and China are now affecting the stock market. Everything affects the stock market. If a fly farts in, East Zimbabwe, they're like, oh, blip on the radar. Riots in Minneapolis over the death of George Floyd are escalating and spreading. Buildings have been burned, defaced, and looted, and the mayor has called on the National Guard. Armed militias have formed to protect shops, and one person was shot by a store owner while looting. Minneapolis police called for help from the State Patrol and St. Paul. 61 buildings in Minneapolis and 10 in St. Paul have reported damage so far. One contributor says shots could be heard throughout the night. Another says the National Guard is on condition 4. The officers involved in the filmed incident were fired, but it is uncertain that they will face long-term consequences. Protests are now also occurring in Los Angeles and Memphis. We talked about this yesterday. These cops deserve to be tried by a jury of their peers, and if everything that it appears that has happened, they should be found guilty of murder or manslaughter or something, but they should certainly be held accountable for what seems like and probably is a crime. And again, I don't know what the deal with George Floyd was, but I know that this was a tragic death. We went into this in depth yesterday. But the way that you protest a tragic death is not by setting 71 buildings on fire and destroying things and looting and rampaging. Those rioters don't care about George Floyd. They care about themselves. It's bullshit. This is classic human behavior. This is why even in Minnesota, when I tell you guys population density matters, I mean it. Yeah, well, we're in Minneapolis. What bad could happen to me? Oh, holy! Ah! Population density matters. Being able to defend yourself matters. Having a bug out plan matters. A bug out plan, not a bug out bag. A bug out bag is the smallest incrementation of what's involved in a bug out plan. Having your team, your tribe, your mag matters. A way to communicate matters. Knowing what your rights and your laws are matters. All of that matters. And I just simply cannot implore you more strongly to switch your eyes and ears on and pay attention to things like that. Population density. There's two things. Pastor Joe Fox at Viking Preparedness talks about this all the time. There's two things that are going to jam you up in SHTF, man. The first is starvation, and the second is people behaving badly. How much food can you grow in the city? Not much. You are essentially existing at the whim of the supply chain logistics. If they have a hiccup, you might starve to death. Well, we'll just get out of the cities, will ya? Where are you going to go? The national park? Okay. Good news. If you could live in the national park for a long period of time, you'd already be doing it. You've just convinced yourself here that you're somehow capable of rising to your level of expectation rather than your level of training. What is going on back here? And the other is people behaving badly, just like you see going on here in Minneapolis. Population density matters. It matters. All this, economic crisis, food shortage, civil unrest, tyranny, war, disinformation, and Rome burning, all of that, the higher population density you have, the more that matters to your life. There are probably people in parts of Alaska right now, which is part of the United States. It is one of the stars on this flag right here, that are like, Minna, who, what? What happened? We had no idea. Because their population density is much different than y'all's. Now, I'm not saying you got to go make out with some Inuit chick somewhere and see that if maybe she'll let you snuggle inside of her sealskin robe with her and just live, out on an ice floe somewhere and club baby seals to death. Unless you want to. Unless that's your jam, in which case talk to your creator, and if you're so convicted, go do that. I'm not saying you have to do that. But I am saying that if you live in the city, you need to quit just thinking that everything's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be okay. As this continues to develop more and more, the risk exposure for you is going to increase. Okay? Okay. 2 or more eyewitness accounts, continuity of infrastructure and supply chains. Bear, why are you yelling? I don't know, because I felt like it. Because it's my show, I get to do that. Okay? I'm sorry. Especially for y'all on earbuds, I'm sorry. Store closings and bankruptcy continues. Tuesday morning, a discount retailer has filed bankruptcy and is looking to close at least 132 stores. Victoria's Secret will be closing about 250 stores in both Canada and the U.S. Le Pain Quotidien, a Belgian restaurant, murdered that word, and Advantage Rent-A-Car also filed bankruptcy. Happens. Economic crisis, right there. Legal, political, and military. Repeating contact tracing programs are beginning across the country. Officials have stated, of course, that it's voluntary. But many are concerned about the violation of privacy that could result from such intense government oversight. Yup, you think? Legal skirmishes continue over government overreach, with decisions often reversing between judges. Governors more often try to cling to power when the legislature or General Assembly is of an opposing party, meaning that the legislature is predominantly, let's say, Republican and the governor's a Democrat. There's a lot of this going on. Two-party politics, stupid. Says the guy who has a video on YouTube called Why I Hate Politics. If you're interested more in what does Bear think about things, you might want to check that video out. The FDA has temporarily allowed minor ingredient changes without changing the food labels due to the pandemic's effects on supply of regular ingredients. The small changes to formulation must not involve any of the top 8 food allergens or any ingredients known to have adverse health impacts. People with statistically more obscure allergies or religious restrictions are particularly concerned. Some are concerned with this loosening of restrictions, that this loosening of restrictions could be permanent. Christian at the Ice Age Farmer recently did a video on this. I know because I'm a patron of his on Patreon. So I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. I spend, I think, over $100 a month on Patreon supporting people, including Christian at Ice Age Farmer. I don't know, man. You can't even just read the labels anymore. I do know this. Again, getting back to this, the more independent from the system you are, if this concerns you, having food security, when this afternoon, when I walk into my meat bird pen, we just start dropping rounds on these birds and lopping their heads off with hatchets and hanging them in the meat tree to bleed out. Yes, we have a meat tree. It's awesome. It just grows meat. Every time you go out there, there's something else hanging in it. It's incredible. I have zero concern about that meat. It was not put through a bleach bath. It was not handled by some COVID-19 infected processor somewhere. I know everything that bird has ever eaten because I got them when they were that big and have raised them up from there. So without even trying, they're cruelty-free, antibiotic-free, organic, free-range, blah, 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 pasture-raised. They're all the blah, blah, blahs without even trying. When I walk out in my garden and we snip some salad greens off and we make nice chicken salad tonight for dinner, I don't have to worry about, well, was this piece of lettuce exposed to some type of fecal E. coli because of the processing plant? You see what I mean? And this sounds like some big unattainable goal for most people, and I'm promising you it's not. It's really simple. Just put seeds in dirt. Make sure they get sunshine. Make sure they get water. Well, Bear, what happens if I mess it up? Then you will learn and you'll be better at it next time. Check your ego at the gate into the garden because it is a learning experience. And it's also a cathartic experience. Especially, it's incredible. You know that quote, I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war? Yes, for sure. But there's something about putting a warrior in a garden that's good for their soul. I have so many brothers who are just busted up from just life. And I don't mean just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. They've been broken. And maybe they've figured out how to knit themselves back together again, at least enough to heal the cracks in the facade. You put them in a garden and something beautiful happens. When your business has been killing things, and then you start making things live and grow, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So go plant a garden, okay? Okay, awesome. House Republicans are suing Speaker Nancy Pelosi to block proxy voting during the pandemic. Good. They believe it is unconstitutional as the Constitution requires a majority of lawmakers to be present to vote. Agreed. They also worry that proxy voting concentrates power into the hands of a few. Yep. Trump tweeted he would veto the bill that would reauthorize parts of the federal surveillance program, FISA, if it should make it to his desk, and House Democrats have now pulled the bill. Good. New Mexico's governor is coming under fire for purchasing jewelry during a time when she is urging citizens to only do what is essential to stay home as much as possible. I'm telling you, there is a let them eat cake mentality. There's a let them eat cake mentality because these politicians have never gotten up at 4 a.m. and walked with you out into the barn to go milk the cows. They've never been woken up at 4:24 in the morning because the roosters are crowing. They've never been up till midnight because something's trying to eat their cattle or their sheep or their goats or their roosters or their ducks or whatever the hell else they got and had to put rounds on target. They've never been all the way over there and watched one of their best friends get ripped in half by an IED and then bleed out. They've never done this shit. And they don't know. And they, for the vast majority of them, don't represent us. And they're like, yeah. Y'all stay home. Be responsible. I'll be over here buying jewelry, but y'all stay home. Stupid. And again, this contributes to, they wonder why people are up to here with this BS. We just don't understand. These citizens, we just don't understand. You're damn right you just don't understand. Have you ever worked so much all day that you literally can't feel your body anymore? Your whole body's numb. Or you get up the next morning and you can't move because you've done so much physical labor the day before that you can't move. And you know what? You got to do it again today. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. I have had 16 cents in my bank account. Praying to the Father. First of all, thank you that all my employees are paid, that insurance is paid, that there's food in the pantry, that there's fuel in the trucks, that there's a roof over my head. But Father God, I got to have something. So if you could just go ahead and do whatever it is you're going to do, I really appreciate it because 16 cents scares the shit out of me. 3 days later, we booked 6 months worth of work because he's awesome. But these people don't live that. They don't get it. They don't understand it. They don't know what it's like to walk through a grocery store and go, I can't afford that, but I need it. So y'all stay home and be responsible. I'm going to go buy some jewelry, okay? And by the way, simmer down or we're going to send the National Guard out here to... Now, of course, in Minneapolis, I think at this point the National Guard is warranted, but nobody should have that much control over your life, especially when they don't get you, when they don't understand you. It's hot as hell in here. I got to go turn the AC on. Stand by. Talk quietly amongst yourselves. My wife likes to turn the temperature on the AC up because she's not a bear-sized man. Thank God. But I like to keep it cool enough that we could be hanging slabs of beef in here. So, yeah. We have disparaging opinions about what cool is. All right. Trump signed an... Oh, Michigan's governor is asking for aid from the federal government. How about no? How about no? Sound good? Good. Okay, cool. No. On behalf of all you citizens of these United States, no. Good try, but no. Fix your own problems and quit acting like a moron. Trump signed an executive order cracking down on social media site censorship and says he will pursue legislation. Most view the move as retaliation against Twitter for adding fact-checking labels on the president's tweets. Boy, there's a can of worms here. On the one hand, private companies should be able to do whatever the hell they want, and I do not like additional legislation. On the other hand, at some point, and this is an argument that Glenn Beck has been making, and just so we're clear, I do not track with everything Glenn says. We're probably about 50-50 at this point as far as agree, disagree, and that's okay. And I used to listen to the guy every day when I was at work. Not so much anymore, probably about once a week right now. Anyway, he's been talking a long time about the difference between publisher and platform. And if you are going to edit the content that is on your site, you're now publishing. And maybe you should be subject to legislation like everybody else. And so rather than walking on that line between publisher and platform and having the best of both worlds, maybe you should do what's moral and ethical or pound sand. Bear for President 2020. Societal in general. Hurricane season is due to begin 1 June. Figure your stuff out now, because if your town gets schwacked by a hurricane tornado, that's a thing, a hurricane tornado. That's right. It's terrible. It's almost as bad as a hurricane and earthquake tornado, which is horrendous. The only thing worse than that is the tsunami, hurricane, tornado, earthquake, tornado. That thing is terrible, and you don't want that thing at all. So if your town has a high risk of a tsunami, hurricane, or tornado, then you really need to figure out what you're going to do now, because when that thing hits, the The government is not coming to save you, okay? They can't save their own asses. They're definitely not. They got jewelry to buy, okay? They're too busy buying jewelry. They ain't coming for you, all right? Michigan's out of money. New Mexico's buying jewelry. A lot of these storm shelters are not open. They're just not opening because of the COVID-19 crisis. So where are you going to go? Figure it out now. What are you going to do? I mean, just really simple takeaways here. If you can have, like, most people are like, yeah, man, I got my bug out bag. Cool, where is it? Maybe it shouldn't be inside of your house, because if your house catches fire or gets schwacked by a tornado, God forbid, or something like this. And by the way, most preppers are like, yeah, man, I got my AR-15 and my combat loadout, and I'm telling you what, when the zombies come up this cul-de-sac, we're going to step off and get some, son. Like, yeah, that's a cool story, bro. By the way, I don't believe you at all. Have fun with that, and do not be a problem in my neighborhood or robust compost pile. That's how a lot of people approach prepping. I'm here to tell you, house fires, flooding, all the things that aren't sexy, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, those things are much more likely to happen in your life. Job loss, injury, these things happen all the time. Do you know how many people I know who are like, yeah, man, I lost my job for X amount of time. We didn't sweat it because we had 2 years worth of food put up. Praise the Most High. Awesome. And so things that can actually happen and are most likely to happen should be at the top of your threat matrix. And so simple, practical, tactical. Keep a freaking fire extinguisher near your kitchen, not in your kitchen. Because if your kitchen's on fire and you got to go through the fire to get the fire extinguisher, now you got a problem, okay? So keep it near your kitchen. Actually, like, do you have insurance on your house? And homeowners and flood insurance are two different things. Ask me how I know. Catastrophic loss due to fire is not necessarily covered by homeowners insurance. You might want to talk to your agent. Have a copy of all your freaking papers. Bear, this is boring. Okay, y'all go boogaloo over there for a minute while I talk to the sane people. Have a copy of all your important papers, your social security card and your driver's license for a start. You know how hard it is to get a driver's license without a social security card? Do you know how hard it is to get a social security card without a driver's license? Been there. Have copies of that stuff, your insurance documentation, birth certificate, marriage certificate, deeds to your properties, all of that stored in a waterproof container inside of your bug out bag, which is outside of your home. Maybe it's in your barn, maybe it's in a shed, maybe it's in the back of your vehicle. But it's someplace that if something catastrophic happens to your house, you can recover it. It didn't go away with the house. Okay, awesome. So figure all that stuff out now before the tsunami apocalypse, a tornado or hurricane lands in your backyard, okay? Awesome. Repeating, food prices are up. Food banks and the unemployment system are inundated, and crime is on the rise as protests continue. Sunshine and unicorns. Oofda. That statement makes me think of this sticker. Yes, this sticker. This is one of the stickers you can get at the store, and the reason I made this sticker is because sometimes I don't care about the tactical badassery. Sometimes you just need a unicorn poop and rainbows, okay? Sometimes you just need a unicorn poop and rainbows. Oh my goodness. RV sales are on the rise, with some dealers reporting a 170% increase in sales. Some believe it is because people are stir crazy or afraid of air travel. It may also be possible that people are rapidly fleeing cities or losing traditional forms of housing. I think it's the latter. All right, we're going to have to cruise with this because I got to get with somebody on my staff here in the near future. So we're going to do some jumping around. First of all, intel at bearindependent.com. If you have some tasty intel nuggets you would like to share with the rest of the class, intel at bearindependent.com. There are two things you send to intel at bearindependent.com. The first is intel. This does not mean that your brother's uncle's nephew's cousin, who was divorced 3 times ago, has a nephew in Albuquerque who knows somebody who said this one time that they have a friend who's special forces in Zimbabwe. That's not intel, okay? Intel, actual verifiable intel. The second is praise. Good job, dance monkeys. Clap hand, okay? That's what goes to intel at bearindependent.com. Please and thank you. Bearindependent.com, BT dubs while we're talking about it. Everybody knows it's tremendous. Believe me. This is the bare fact. Yeah, we're going to go quick, but this is the bare fact. Look, it's got the logo on it. Made in America. Look at the freaking stitching, y'all. Look at it. Look at it. Focus. Look at it. Look at it. Handmade. Still got a little bit of chalk on the back from when Cody laid it out by hand. Handmade. Made in America. Guaranteed forever. This is Marpat Woodland. If y'all want woodland, let me know. We might consider adding that. Tell me in the chat right now if you'd like some actual woodland. Like woodland pattern. Excuse me. I want it. Hey, it's Sister Francis. Shalom, sister. Yes, please do. Roger. So, woodland camo actual. Elijah Lacey does. Yes, good. Nicholas, simmer down, bro. Legit old school woodland. Roger that. Woodland is a good option. All right. Awesome. Yes, woodland. Okay. I'll talk to Cody. We'll make it happen. By the way, can't announce it yet, but super big things happening. I'll tell you at some point. This is the bare fact, okay? This is the first blowout kit I ever designed. This kit was designed with the input from, how do we make this thing? I came up with an idea. I ran it through some former SF guys. I got some input from Pastor Joe Fox of Viking Preparedness. Cody started making some of these. We sent the Gen 1 out, and this is a tiny business lesson. And the first 100 of the Gen 1s we sent out a questionnaire. Please fill this out, send it back with a self-addressed stamped envelope. What do you like? What do you love? What do you hate? What would you do differently? Contents, cost, blah, 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 blah. And we got all that awesome feedback, and that led to the Gen 2. This is the Gen 2.5. So it's now been, this is the third iteration, the Gen 2.5. This thing has been assessed and reviewed by lots of high-speed people. It is currently being used by lots of high-speed people. This kit has saved 5 lives that we know of, that we can talk about. And they're really freaking cool, okay? So that's Marpat Woodland, hook and loop here, Molly compatible on the back. Pull the tab open, you got your combat gauze. This is not included, it's an additional. Just got your combat gauze up here. You can add that, you can add a SWAT tee, compressed gauze, C-locks, rolled gauze, a lollipop, a brownie. A brownie would fit good right there. Whatever floats your boat, okay? And then you just simply pull the handle and this comes out. The reason we did that is because I absolutely hate IFACs that are stuck on your person. Now I got to move the casualty just to get at his kit. Ugh, stupid. So this whole thing comes out. You can hold it in your hand, lay it on the ground, hang it on a hook. I don't care. Put it, like, literally, you could hang this up in your helicopter while you're working on the guy that you're evacing, okay? Ask me how I know. So, did I mention that Air Force PJs use these things? Air Force PJs use these things. That's how good they, literally got a letter from one of them that's like, I want to buy one. I think it's better than what we have. I was like, here you go, bro. Got another letter. It's like, these things are friggin' awesome. How do we get more? I'm like, praise Yah. That's cool. Okay. Gen 7 cat tourniquet, decompression needle, gloves, duct tape, 6-inch emergency trauma dressing, the stack, legit 7¼ shears, nasopharyngeal airway, 2 5x9 gauze pads back here, 2 full-size hyphen chest seals back here. Down here, you've got quick clot. Can you see it? You got quick clot. You've got, let's see, a triangle bandage, compressed gauze, surgical tape, an emergency blanket, 2x2s, 4x4s, 5x9s. What the hell else is in here? Disinfectant wipes, rolled gauze, all the things you need to put somebody back together if they've been shot, stabbed, blunt force trauma, all of the things. That's what it's for. It's purpose built for that. And handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. Look, see this? See that? We can put that on there, made in USA, because we're not lying about it. Made in USA, by hand, guaranteed forever. If you break this, I want to know. Send it back to me. I'll send you another one. And I want to know how it broke. What were you doing with it when it broke? How do we make it better? Okay? And all of that, and it's $100 less than the Chinesium bullcrap that's being sold by a lot of other people, a lot of really ultra tactical, high speed garbage companies, or not bad companies, but this is literally $100 less than a lot of other companies' high speed products that come right off of the ship at the port of Los Angeles from China. Not us. These are made here locally. So, anyway, that's the bear fact. You can get it at bearindependent.com at the store. Appreciate y'all. Let's cruise. Shabba-dabba-da. A property manager in the San Francisco Bay Area has noticed in the past month that approximately 20% of tenants are paying rent with credit cards, and 10% are receiving a 60-day payment deferrals. In Colombia, they're loosening restrictions on the 1st of June. The new decree includes specifications about how often and for how long certain people in people groups can go outside. For example, people over 70 are allowed to go outside 3 times a week for 30 minutes, and children 6 to 17 can go outside 3 times a week for an hour a day. Okay, cool. Debunking misinformation. We talked about this stuff yesterday, COVID-19 tracking. And if it's banned, it must be true. Again, the entirety of this report is on Patreon. Actionable new firearms transaction record has all the buyer information on the first page. Make sure nobody's snapping pics of your first page when you're buying firearms. I think this goes into effect 1 November. Reach out and socially support others. Suicide is on the rise, even among children sequestered at home. I just had a conversation with a brother about this morning. Be vigilant. What can you do? Let them know that you are there and love them through it. And hey, by the way, and this doesn't matter, it does not matter if they're 11 years old or 71 years old. I'm here. I love you. Good news. You're messed up. We all are. This is just for a moment in time. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I'm here. No pressure. I'm here. Don't do anything stupid, but I'm here. Okay? So that's the mental, emotional, spiritual side of it. The tactical, practical side, if you have somebody you're worried about, remove all the means that they could possibly harm themselves with. You can do it casually, you can do it openly, however you choose to do it. But if you have somebody, for example, who's cutting themselves, they don't need to have a knife. Okay? If you have somebody that you're worried about committing suicide, they don't need to have access to weaponry. And then you love them through it. You just engulf them. No pressure, just engulf them with love. Hey, I'm here. Whenever you're ready to talk about whatever is going on, I'm here. Praise the Father. Identity theft and scams are on the rise. Alternative marketplaces like Facebook and Craigslist if you're trying to find a freezer. Alternative food sources, Asian supply stores, Amish and Mennonite stores, restaurant supply stores, and local farmers. Medical supplies, bearindependent.com. Midwife supply stores, veterinary supply stores. If you cannot obtain seeds, plant your pantry. Silver linings. A viewer notes that the Hero Soap Company video has enabled her to share Bear Independent with people that may not otherwise have been open to his other content. It was a seed planted for people to hear more. Also, her husband was not interested in preparedness, so she, quote, did the things. Do the things, people. Now they do not have to worry where their next meal is coming from. Quote, to all those who are asking how to get your spouse on board to prepare, do the things you are called to do by our Creator. Pray that your spouse has ears to hear and that their eyes are opened. Your first duty is to serve our Father. Your second is to your spouse. Wow, and true. That's awesome. Bless you, sister. Many are paying attention and expanding their gardens and preps. One viewer obtained egg-laying chicks at $2.65 per chicken. Not bad. Quote, I have a garden planted and doing beautifully, and in the last 2 months I've been able to set aside about 800 pounds of food. I have a large family, so I have a long way to go, but I wouldn't have gotten this far if I hadn't been listening to the Bear Daily Brief. Bless you. And all praise goes to the Most High, because he's totally badass, and I am fortunate that he gets to use me occasionally when he sees fit to do so. Canadian police have announced that an extraordinary international investigation has concluded with nearly 400 children rescued from pornography and sex crimes and 348 adults arrested. Praise the Father. This is everywhere, y'all. People think, oh yeah, kiddie porn, that's Southeast Asia. The United States is the #1 consumer and producer of. The United States. Well, we're a Judeo-Christian nation. Act like it. Quote, I've been working hard in the garden every day, doing the things while listening to Brother T. Read the Word. Started at Genesis 1 and working through Leviticus. I feel more at peace and filled with the loving spirit than I ever have in my life, and have put my nose in my Bible for the first time since I was a child, as to not subcontract my relationship with the Most High. Bless you. Bear, thank you so much for helping facilitate this connection. It is so powerful, I find myself in tears just talking about it. Amen. And I totally understand. Because when you're baptized in the Spirit, this is exactly what Yeshua talks about. In John 3 it is, I believe, he's talking to Nicodemus, and he's like, look, you have to be born of water so you can be born of the Spirit. And Nicodemus is like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? And he's like, don't you understand the Spirit, breath, life, the wind? And the wind blows and you feel the wind. You don't know where it comes from. You don't know where it's going, but you can experience it. You can receive input from it. You can onboard the fact that it exists. It can point you in the right direction. That's how the Spirit works. And Nicodemus is like, bro, I'm not tracking. And Yeshua looks at him and goes, if I can't teach you about wind, how am I supposed to teach you about the kingdom of heaven? I'm telling you, it's the Spirit, that overwhelming just baptism, and that, it's life-changing. And I'm happy for you. I'm legit happy for you. That is freaking awesome. Praise Yah. One viewer says that while she has severe health issues, but says, quote, even with severe health issues, we can all still do good. No, maybe we can't physically keep up with bear, but we can work on our accuracy with long rifles. We can grow in containers. We can mend clothes, and we can work with our local farmers to purchase their freshly butchered meat. I can demonstrate all this to the chronically ill community thanks to Bear's teachings. I can demonstrate that even small things can reap big rewards when done in the name of Yahweh and Yeshua. Amen. And most importantly, I can teach others and bring others into the light of our Savior and win souls for the kingdom. Who's cutting onions in here? That is awesome. Bless you. That is awesome. All right, guys. You know about bearindependent.com. You know that the forums are there. You know that the store's there. You know that if you want to support our ministry, you can go to grindstoneministries.com. You know that we're fundraising to build 2 churches, because I've never been afraid of work, and I'm kind of known for ambition. What's 1 church? Let's build 2. You got any money? No. How are you going to do it? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I have no friggin' idea. How does that work? He is badass. That's how it works. And when you step out in faith and you serve his kingdom, he makes sure you get what you need. Grindstone is so cool. Yah is so cool. The Father is so freaking awesome. Oofda, as my brother Cody would say. Oofda. Let's pray. Father Yah, thank you for being badass. Thank you for loving on your kiddos. Thank you for bringing us home through Yeshua Messiah, even though we've strayed, even though we make mistakes, even though we've turned our back on you time and time again. We've run as far as we could and found out that your arms are longer than our legs, Father. You are awesome. You are awesome, and thank you. Father, thank you for the opportunity to do this. Thank you for everybody within the sound of my voice. And Father, I pray that you would just continue to be the light in our life. If there's anything within us that's not of you, Father, we rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Just get the hell out. Father, fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, that we would wield your power and authority, that we would be indwelt with your strength and your love and your peace and your wisdom and your understanding and your discernment and your guidance. Father, in your breath, your spirit. Father, thank you for this. Thank you for my wife and for my kids, and for my friends and my family and my community and my tribe, the entirety of the Bear Nation, everybody within the sound of my voice, Father. Thank you for being sovereign over all things, and thank you for using us to serve your kingdom, for trusting us to wield your authority. Father, just please continue to walk with us and guide us and point us in the right direction. Ask all these things in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Oofda. Y'all are awesome. Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you, let's see. Next live stream is the weekly threat matrix on Sunday for the $10 and up patrons, and then we'll be back here on YouTube Monday to do the brief again. I pray y'all have an awesome weekend. Go out there and make the Father smile and do the things. That's right, Miss Herman. He'll do the things. Bless y'all.